A country childhood. Nelson Mandela fought the unjust system of apartheid in South Africa. After a long struggle, the original inhabitants won the right to rule themselves. Nelson Mandela became the first African president of the nation. This is an excerpt from his biography.
My mother presided over 3 huts at Kunu. As I remember, these were always filled with the babies and children of my relatives. In fact, I hardly recall any moment as a child when I was alone. In African culture, the sons and daughters of one's aunts or uncles are brothers and sisters, not cousins. We have no half-brothers or half-sisters or aunts or uncles. My mother's sister is my mother, my uncle's son is my brother's child is my son. Of my mother's 3 huts, one was used for cooking, one for sleeping, and one for storage. In the hut in which we slept, there was no furniture in the proper sense. We slept on mats and sat on the ground. I did not discover pillows until much later. My mother cooked food in a 3-legged iron pot over an open fire in the center of the hut or outside. Everything we ate, we grew and made ourselves. From an early age, I spent most of my free time in the veld, playing and fighting with the other boys of the village. At night, I shared my food and blanket with the same boys. I was no more than 5 when I started looking after sheep and calves in the fields. I learned to gather wild honey, fruits, and edible roots. I could swim in the clear, cold streams and catch fish with strong thread and sharpened bits of wire. I also learned to stick fight. I learned to love the veld, the open spaces, the simple beauties of nature, the clean line of the horizon. As boys, we were mostly left to ourselves. We played with toys that we made ourselves. We made animals and birds out of clay. We made ox-drawn sledges out of tree branches. Nature was our playground. We sat on flat stones and slid down the face of the large rocks. We did this until our backsides were so sore we could hardly sit down. I learned to ride atop calves after being thrown to the ground several times. One got the hang of it.
When Nelson Mandela grew up, he became the leader of the African people. He was a loving man who made friends wherever he went. His one-time assistant, Jesse Duarte, relates these incidents about him.
He always made his own bed, no matter where we traveled. I remember we were once in China in a luxury hotel, and I said to him, "Please don't make your own bed, because it's against Chinese hospitality." He said, "Call the ladies who clean the room." When they came, he explained to them that he always made his own bed. They should not feel insulted. He didn't ever want to hurt people's feelings.
Here is an incident told by Richard Stengel, who worked with Mandela on his autobiography. It happened on an aeroplane trip in Natal in South Africa.
As soon as Mandela boarded the aeroplane, he picked up a newspaper and read everything in it. I was sitting right across him, and he pointed out of the window. I saw to my horror that the propeller had stopped working. He said calmly, "Richard, would you like to inform the pilot that the propeller isn't working?" I walked to the front of the plane and found that the pilot was well aware of it. He asked me to go back to my seat and sit down. They had called the airport and the ambulances were there. I went back and told Mandela that. He just listened and said, "Yes." The plane landed without any trouble. Nelson remained calm throughout the trip. He never changed his expression. As we came out of the airport, he said, "I was really scared up there." Then I realized that this is what courage is all about. Courage is not about being scared. Courage is being terrified and not showing it. I got courage by looking at him because he was pretending not to be scared, and that's what he did his whole life. This is what made him so great.
Nelson Mandela won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. He died at his home in Johannesburg in December 2013.